Hey folks, welcome back. In this tutorial we're going to be exploring the difference between orientation and rotation once you've made a layer 3D. So I've got two layers that I've duplicated in the timeline here. I'm going to make them 3D like so. Now once we do that we can see that rotation has now got three parameters, x, y and z, but also we've now got an orientation parameter. Now the thing that can be a little bit confusing is that the orientation tool can appear at first glance to be doing the same job that rotation does. So as an example, let's have a look on this solid here, the one on the right. I've got Z rotation, and if I rotate Z like so, it's rotating excuse me, on the Z axis. On orientation you've got X, Y and Z as well. Oops, just here. And if I rotate Z on orientation, it appears to be doing the same thing. So you're probably thinking, well, why would I use orientation? It seems to be the same as rotation. So let's do a little demo to sort of explain the differences between the two. I'm going to set a keyframe for Z rotation and a keyframe for orientation. I'm going to take the time marker to 2 seconds, and under Z rotation I'm going to set it for 360. So the one on the left is doing a full 360 turn on the Z axis. Let's try and do the same using Z under orientation. Let's do a 360 turn here and see what happens. I'm going to put in 360 and it goes back to 0. It actually hasn't done a rotation of any kind. So why is this? Probably the best way to explain it is I'm going to delete that keyframe and I'm going to delete that keyframe, so that at the moment, let's go back to 0. I'm going to have Z rotation still selected and orientation still selected for keyframes. Let's go back to 2. What I'm going to do is on this occasion, on the Z rotation, I'm going to put 270. Now, if you watch, it's now going to do a clockwise rotation and park itself like so. So we've instructed it, we've told rotation Z to spin fully and park itself in that manner. Now let's see how orientation takes the same instruction on the Z axis. Let's put in 270. Let's go back to 0 and let's see what happens. Look at the difference between the two. The one on the left, which is rotation, is doing a 270 turn clockwise, whereas the one on the right, which is orientation, is actually doing a 90-degree turn to the left. Okay, so the one on the left is doing the full 270. The one on the right is doing is doing minus 90. And the reason is this: if you look at the one on the right, and I think I'm just going to just isolate that one there for a minute. If you look at the one on the right, we programmed in 270. And if you look actually here on the timeline, it is working its way to 270. So if you look at it, it's worked its way to 270. You can see it there. But it's done it in the quickest manner possible. So it looked at the instructions it was given and it said, right, I've got to get to 270. The quickest way to do that is just turn left. So it's done, or sorry, rather rotate left, or rather, to give it a proper term, rotate anti-clockwise. Apologies. So we told it, right, you're going to go to 270. It thought, okay, I'll do that. The quickest way, and this is the key, the quickest way I can orientate myself to do that is to just go anti-clockwise and do a quarter turn. Let's go back to this one. Now this one was different. We said you're going to get to 270, but you are going to do the full rotation we've told you to do. So keep your eyes down here if you could, and look what it does. As we go through the command, we commanded it to rotate. So it knows, okay, I'm going to rotate. I'm going to keep rotating. It's a long way round, but I'm going to keep rotating until I end up here, and I've now done my 270-degree command. Orientation, as I've said earlier, is slightly different. Let's put orientation on. That had the same command, but it orientated. It thought, okay, I'm doing an orientation task. I've been told to go to 270. How can I get there in the quickest way? Well, I'll just do an anti-clockwise turn to the left, and I'm on 270. Let's just finally see both of them in action. This one here, I'm just going to label rotation, just to make it a little easier to understand. And this one here, orientation. Let's see what they do. So, orientation is on the right, rotation is on the left. They've both been told to get to 270. The one on the left, unfortunately, it's been told to get to 270 by rotating, so it's got to go all the way round. Whereas the one on the right can do it in the quickest way that it wants. It orientates itself to do a quarter turn to the left, but both of them have ended up on 270. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hope you found that useful. See you in the next tutorial.